I am Annie Abdul Salam. In the headlines, Rivers State House of Assembly approves request by Governor Nyesom Wike to access over 6 billion naira loan facilities. For resident doctors with core members. Debt Management Office reports increase in Nigeria's debt profile to 31 trillion naira. And on the foreign scene, European Union announces deal with pharmaceutical company to reserve 2 million COVID-19 vaccines. And now the details. The Rivers State Executive Council has begun moves to revitalize the Professor Kisley Harrison Hospital and Dental and Maxillofacial Hospital, both in Port Harcourt. State Commissioner for Health, Professor Prince Chike, confirmed this to newsmen while addressing newsmen after the weekly State Executive Council meeting at Government House, Port Harcourt.
Of the Professor Kisley Harrison Hospital, the Dental and Maxillofacial Hospital, and the operational agreement between the ASHIS and the River State government. For the Maxillofacial Hospital, the purpose is to to affect the training of dental house officers and the accreditation for internship for residents, while that of the ASHIS to ASHIS will also include the purpose of planned increase in the purpose of the grants to the River State University Teaching Hospital to afford them to train pathologists, medical students, and morticians. To this effect, an implementation committee has been set up by Executive Council to make sure this is actualized.
Commissioner for Culture and Tourism in the state, Tonye Oyide, also told newsmen that almost 500 million naira has been approved for the rehabilitation of the River State Ecological Park.
River State Executive Council today approved the sum of 472,092,088 naira only for the rehabilitation of the River State Zoological Park to boost tourism in the state. This will cover the renovation work on the administrative block, museum, snack kiosks, general convenience, and retaining walls, as well as building of the staff quarters, kitchen, gatehouse, outside perimeter mesh, and remodeling of the front gate.
Meanwhile, the River State House of Assembly has approved requests of Governor Nyesom Wike to assess over 6 billion naira loan facilities for funding and implementation of the Accelerated States Agricultural Development Scheme and to access the counterpart fund from the Universal Basic Education Commission. The requests were contained in a letter forwarded to the House by Governor Wike and read on the floor of the House by the Speaker of the State Assembly, Ikunyowaje Ibani. While approving the request after a debate by members in favor of the move, Ibani said the 5 billion naira loan request earmarked for the development of the agricultural sector will provide employment opportunities for youths of the state.
The agri sector is one sector that will generate employment. With the other necessary ancillary services associated with the mechanized farming, you will find out that in due time, the young people who are idling away will be taken off the streets because they will be engaged and their energy will be used optimally. From the result, the state government is hereby authorized to borrow the sum of 5 billion naira from Zenith Bank for the funding and implementation of Accelerated States Agricultural Development Scheme, as well as Central Bank of Nigeria Agri-Credit Scheme for River State.
Correspondent Victor Eziama reports that 1.5 billion naira was also approved by the House for the state to assess counterpart funds from the Universal Basic Education Commission.
From the result, the House hereby authorized that the state government do borrow the sum of 1,519,884,078 naira 86 kobo only from Zenith Bank PLC to enable the state government access the counterpart fund from Universal Basic Education Commission for the purpose as stated.
A civil society group, the Environmental Rights Action and Friends of the Earth Nigeria, has called for improved capacity in the monitoring and evaluation of all remediation processes being carried out by the Hydrocarbon Pollution and Remediation Project, HYPREP. The group made this known during an interactive session between the National Assembly Joint Committee on Ecology and Climate Change and HYPREP. Speaking on behalf of the group, the Executive Director, Godwin Uyi Ojo, decried the slow pace of the project, thus as he called for key performance indicators to check the deficiency within the project.
The stakeholders here, all of us, apart from you, our entry point is the monitoring and evaluation. That is the only entry point we have. And I started by saying that UNEP report assessment and cleanup started from 2011. You didn't quite. I'm not talking about HYPREP. The cleanup is a federal government environmental legacy project to showcase its environmental ability to take proper care on cleanup process. We are not doing it right. We came out with key performance indicators. As at that time, HYPREP has no key performance indicators, and we sent it to them. We sent it as a suggestion. There was not even an acknowledgement.
On his part, the chairman of the Senate Committee Representative Committee on Ecology and Climate Change, Hassan Mohammed Gusso, called for synergy between HYPREP and civil society organizations for a better cleanup process. The ECRAC unit of River State Police Command is immersed in a fresh controversy over alleged detention, torture, and murder of Philip Brown. The controversy also involves the Diob Vigilante Group over its role in the arrest and detention of the victim. Spokesman of Diob Vigilante Group, Prince Amatari, had in a statement claimed that Philip Brown, popularly called Schoolboy, was arrested in possession of an AK-47 rifle around Soku Okwele waterfront, Mile 2, Diob area, and was handed to the men of Eagle Crack unit for investigation. But Mike Pebble and Juan Senibor, who claimed to be residents of the waterfront, denied claims that Brown was apprehended with AK-47, explaining that the late Brown was among some youths of the area who went after some armed criminals who came to rob the area and recovered an AK-47 rifle from them.
Now, we carry the gun, we go vigilante. Now, we fear to carry the government. They don't say government are government. Government is government. That's all they want to carry. Now, we have to tell our organ in Okwele Town. So let him carry off with the gun, go give vigilante. He say no, unless you carry the gun, give him. They get famous for DPO front. The new crack organ. They carry go there for we no agree. They say want to go see the new organ, carry the gun, hand over and say this our street now 3 street. Anybody go thief, we don't catch like 3 thieves a gun. We don't carry hand over give a DPO. But in the tell them say the gun, now inside the thief the gun. So they don't carry the gun, these police people. But if you no agree where their own, they start to the flog out. Vigilante program, and in the presence of the officers,
we don't want to hand it over to them, and we're also afraid of the police to go and give to the police directly to look someone. So we're looking for maybe human rights or army to come explain and give it to them because
a relative of late Brown, who visited the office of the ECRAC at Mile 1, Diob, Port Harcourt, said the operatives have denied detaining any such person.
So I went to my one police station to get the body, and I was told that such incident never happened. They are not aware. I also went to ECRAC there in my one police station. They said that incident did not occur. They don't even have anything of that even on their record. So in my pursuit too, I also went to Azikiwe police station to get the necessary to get his body so the family can at least bury him since it has something to do. They are also telling us that such things never happened.
While the Public Relations Officer of the River State Police Command said he will react on the controversy, a senior officer attached to the ECRAC unit who hinted our correspondent on the development revealed that the suspect died in the course of investigation. You're listening to the World News on Today 95.1 FM, Voice of the People. After the break, we'll be back with more news, foreign and sports stories. Stay tuned.
Every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
Welcome back. You're still listening to the World News here on Today 95.1 FM. It's 9 minutes after 7. The commander of the 4 Special Forces Command, Doma Local Government Area, Brigadier General Maude Ali Gadzama, has confirmed the killing of Tewase Akwaza, also known as Ghana. Gadzama revealed Ghana was killed on Tuesday in a firefight with military personnel. However, the Benue State Governor Samuel Otum said soldiers snatched Ghana from a government convoy of repentant militants in Boko. Earlier, Ghana, along with 172 militia boys, had reportedly surrendered before traditional rulers, priests, and local government officials in Kathinala local government area of Benue. Governor Otum said they were on their way to Makurdi, where they were intercepted by military officials. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami has expressed readiness to appear before the Justice Aya Salami-led panel investigating the suspended acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ibrahim Magu. Minister spoke in response to a demand by lawyers to Magu that he be invited by the panel to testify. Speaking to the media in Abuja, the Attorney General said he was willing to appear before the panel if invited to be cross-examined.
Testimony, the idea of appearance of the office of the Attorney General, and indeed with particular reference to Abubakar Malami, before any panel, before any tribunal, local and international, for the purpose of supporting an investigation that will now see to the establishment and unraveling the truths associated with an issue under consideration is not new, and I will in no way exercise any restraint as far as honoring an invitation for the purpose of supporting any inquiry, any investigation is concerned. So if indeed the Ayo Salami panels invite Abubakar Malami as a person, or the Attorney General of the Federation and the person of Abubakar Malami for any testimony, for any clarification, for any examination or cross-examination for that matter, Abubakar Malami will wholeheartedly, gladly, within the spirit and context of the rule of law, be there to testify, be there to be cross-examined, be there to examine.
The federal government has directed chief medical doctors and managing directors of federal tertiary hospitals to commence the use of consultants and doctors on the National Youth Service Corps to provide routine services with immediate effect. The government also directed that local staffers should be brought in when and where necessary to forestall service disruption when applicable and affordable. The Minister of Health, Dr. Sage Ehenare, gave the directive in a statement while reacting to the nationwide strike by the National Association of Resident Doctors protesting the non-payment of their COVID-19 hazard allowance and other demands. The minister said embarking on the strike in a time that the country is battling with COVID-19 pandemic is ill-timed and ill-advised. Ehanare further claimed that most of the demands have been met and others, though difficult, are at an advanced stage of implementation, adding that the little patience would have made a big difference. Meanwhile, the federal government says it has paid 20 billion naira as COVID-19 allowance to health workers in the country. Minister of State for Health, Dr. Olorunigbe Mamora, disclosed this on a live television program. Mamora explained that the federal government had to stop the payment of hazard allowance to the health workers because of renegotiation with them.
We were able to pay April, May fully. June, part of has been paid, but not fully paid. And it's because of what we all know happening in our economy, and these funds have to be sourced for one way or the other. And at the last, count, we've been able to disburse close to 20 billion. And I repeat, close to 20 billion. So to say something has been done, that is not true. We suspended the 5,000. Is it for 5,000? What is 5,000? It's so paltry. This is something that has been in existence since 1992, 1993. And that was why we had to suspend it for this period, so that we were now paying starting from about 50% of the basic. 50% depending on where the point of operation is. This money has been released. It's now a question of nitty-gritty. Nitty-gritty in terms of we need to know who the resident doctors are in the various institutions.
The Debt Management Office, DMO, has put Nigeria's entire debt at 31 trillion naira, indicating an increase of 2.38 trillion naira. The notice by DMO reveals Nigeria's total public debt stock as of June 30th, 2020. Nigeria's total public debt stock includes the debt stock of the federal government, the 36 states, and the Federal Capital Territory. Like the country's public debt stock, the DMO also released reports on Nigeria's actual external debt service payments in second quarter 2020, as well as Nigeria's external debt stock as of June 30th, 2020. And now to the foreign scene. The European Commission has announced that it has reached a deal with a sixth pharmaceutical firm, BioNTech Pfizer, to reserve a further 200 million doses of a potential coronavirus vaccine. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said the chances of EU to develop and deploy a safe and effective vaccine have never been higher, both for Europeans and the rest of the world. In a statement, BioNTech said the agreement includes an option for another 100 million doses, adding that the deliveries could start as soon as the end of 2020 if the labs successfully clear the various test phases. Brussels has previously signed deals with Sanofi GSK, Johnson & Johnson, CureVac, Moderna, and AstraZeneca to be ready to procure doses quickly, even when any of the companies develop a safe and effective coronavirus vaccine. Labs around the world are racing to produce a vaccine to help end the worst health crisis in over a century. More than 200 candidates vaccines are currently being developed, with roughly 2,000 at the stage of clinical trials with human volunteers. And now to sports. African football chiefs have said they will decide whether to go ahead with the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederation Cup matches in Morocco during September amid a coronavirus spike. The kingdom is scheduled to host the first legs of the Champions League semi-finals and the Confederation Cup Final Four mini tournament this month. Confederation of African Football CAF officials are concerned after a rise in COVID-19 cases meant only one Moroccan league match has been played since the first 2 weeks of September. At least 12 of the 16 Botola Pro 1 clubs reported positive cases, triggering an order that players must stay in hotels or sports centers rather than returning home after each match. Two senior CAF officials confirmed to AFP that the concluding stages of the Champions League and Confederation Cup competitions will be among the issues on the agenda. And now to end the news, here's a summary of the major stories. The Rivers State House of Assembly has approved a request by Governor Nyesom Wike to access over 6 billion naira loan facilities. Federal government has directed the replacement of striking resident doctors with core members. We also told you that the Debt Management Office has reported an increase in Nigeria's debt profile to 31 trillion naira. And on the foreign scene, you heard that the European Union has announced a deal with a pharmaceutical company to reserve 2 million COVID-19 vaccines. And that was the news that's edited by Victor Ziama. For comments and inquiries, please call 08153418657 or 08144343502 or send your emails to news@todayfmlive.com. You can also read our stories on www.todayfmlive.com. Do not forget, take responsibility. Wash your hands frequently with soap under running water. Avoid touching your face in high contact surfaces to prevent coronavirus. I am Annie Abdusalam. To have a good morning.
Entertainment, today's sports, today's issues, today on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Peace is a situation where there is no war or violence in a society. Peace allows wealth to accumulate and the society to advance.
Through peace, generations of wealth, education, technology can build up, thereby making people very prosperous and happy.
Without peace, there will be violence, war, and underdevelopment in our society. The most disadvantageous peace is far better than the most just war. Let us embrace peace for a better society.
This message is brought to you by your premium talk radio, Today 95.1 FM.
It's what I pray for, all around the world. It's what I pray for, all
You're welcome to this special interview session. I have here with me in the studio engineer for Monday, MD, CEO for Univision Nigeria Limited, Lagos. Also here in the studio is Mr. Kenneth and Mrs. Paul.
Thank you. Okay.
Tell us why you're here.
We are here because of Daily Income Stores. Daily Income Stores is the only store that has been in existence for the past 11 years and over 200 countries right now. This is the only store that you go there to shop only once in a year. Then you drop your account number and you get paid every single day as other customers shop after you. What are the things you need to shop from this store? Your normal daily needs and wants. For example, now you're listening to me right now, you cannot stay for 1 month without not brushing your mouth. You're going to spend money either on paste or chewing stick. You're not just stay for 1 month without not taking your bath. You're going to spend money either on liquid soap, powder soap, or solid soap to take your bath. That means human being daily needs and wants can never be satisfied. You have been spending money shopping from every other store and they cannot pay you because it's not their system and they will never pay you. But here comes a store that have been in the same for the past 11 years in over 200 countries. We are already 5 years in Nigeria. We are office in Lagos, Abuja, Ibadan, Port Harcourt, Kano, Kaduna, and we are also having a wonderful seminar to show you how these stores works. Of course, the seminar is going to hold today, 11 o'clock, and of course, 1 hour training, no African morning, 4 p.m. in the evening is an powerful section for you to attend.
At Chinese Garden Hotel, 94 Market Road, opposite Rumumasi, Morning Market, Rumumasi.
And of course, if you want to be part of the training, send us a text for us to reserve the seats for you to the following numbers:
0806 344 3876 or 0803 708 2819.
That's very interesting. So tell us, who can be part of this training?
Thank you. Everybody is eligible to be part of this training today. You're a doctor, you're a civil servant, you're a public servant, you're educated, you're not educated. And of course, the training is going to hold 11 o'clock this morning. You can't make it up 11 o'clock this morning. 4 p.m. today is an powerful time for you to be part of the training.
For the benefit of those that are listening to us, how real is the store?
The reality of the store is obvious because every product in this store are all NAFDAC certified. They're all SON certified. They're all consumable products. And if you happen to be among the first 10 people in this morning seminar, you'll get a free product from us. That is seeing is believing.
Yeah, I believe that you all have specific experiences. So tell us about your experience in daily income stores.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Paul. I'm a mother and a businesswoman. I heard about this daily income store in the radio. I attended the program. I also shop. I submitted my account details. To my greatest surprise, I start making daily money. For the past 8 months now, I did not believe that in my entire life, I can have an opportunity that pays me every day. Come for the training today, 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. Come and see it yourself because seeing is believing. You won't regret you did.
All right, my name is Kenneth. I heard about this opportunity 2 months ago. I went there, I got trained, and I shopped. I got my product, I submitted my account details. To my greatest surprise, few days later, I started receiving alerts. This opportunity is real. It is working. It's paying people every single day of their life. Come out today and be part of the training by 11 a.m. or by 4 p.m.
Okay, what's your final word?
Right now, I want to open up your mind to this opportunity because a closed mind is worse than a blind eye. If you want to be part of the training today, send us a text, your name and your location, where you are coming from, to the following number so that we can reserve a seat for you.
0806 344 3876 or 0803 708 2819.
We are running a massive promo today. If you pay a token of 1,000 naira, which is our gate fee, you can actually come with 5 of your friends for free. The gate fee for the program is 2,000. We are running a promo. You are only paying 50%, which is 1,000 naira. And you are paying 1,000 naira. You can come in with 5 of your friends for free. Then it's mind-blowing opportunity. If you happen to be among the first 10 people that will be in the training today, 11 o'clock, you will get a free sample of the product. If you're a student, you're a graduate looking for a job right now, you don't need to wait for you. Come to Daily Income Stores where you shop only once in a year. You drop your account number and get paid every day of your life. The training is going to hold today
at Chinese Garden Hotel, 94 Market Road, opposite Rumumasi, Morning Market, Rumumasi.
And of course, you can't make it up this morning, 11 o'clock. 4 p.m. is another powerful section for you to be part of the training. Send us your text of your name and your location where you are coming from to the following numbers so that we can reserve a seat for you.
0806 344 3876 or 0803 708 2819 or 0803 708 2819.
Art is solace. Art is vision. And when I pick up a literary work, I am a consumer of literature for its own sake. Wale Soyinka, a Nigerian dramatist. There are no secrets to success. It is the result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure, says Colin Powell, an American statesman and writer. History is written for posterity to recount. Experiences and sensibilities are expressed with the might of a pen. It is the man who reads that is able to foretell the future. The strength of a man is measured by how much he knows. And yes, no knowledge is lost. Our writers have put all of this knowledge into poems, novels, written drama, and memoirs. All you have to do is pick up a book today. Join me, Wealth Wilson, on the book club on your premium talk radio Today 95.1 FM. Read to know, read to understand, read to learn.
Book Club. Explore the beauty in knowledge.
Every last Sunday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Officer, take. Officer, give me number. No time. Ma, they match am, they go.
What? You bribing the officer of the law? You under arrest. Let me see your papers. You can go. They're in order. Drive safe, okay?
I don't understand though. No be the same country again. Officer reject bribe. They arrest me yesterday. That yesterday, I go do my papers. See as I pass now. I pass without fear. You too, make you do wetin dey right. For we country to better, it dey for we hand. If you like, do like say you no hear am. To give or to take bribe, na offense.
Una don hear am, abi? You hear am too, abi? You hear am. You hear am well. They themselves, they hear am. Now the voice of the people. Now him bring this message give una. Today 95.1 FM. Now we be the voice of the people.
Welcome to Hard Talk on the BBC World Service with me, Stephen Sacker, at the Hay Literary Festival in Wales. There is something special about the human heart. We live with and by its constant beat. We invest it with our deepest feelings. So, naturally, we reserve something like reverence for the surgeons like my guest today, Samer Nashef, who fix broken hearts.
It is simply a pump. There is probably a reason why people thought it was the seat of emotions, because when you have emotions and you release adrenaline and noradrenaline, they stimulate the heart and it beats a little bit faster and more strongly. So they assume it's the heart that's generating the emotions. The heart is just simply responding to them. But it's a very clever pump.
That's Samer Nashef on Hard Talk after the news. Welcome to Hard Talk on the BBC World Service with me, Stephen Sacker. Today I've come to the Hay Literary Festival in Wales to meet a renowned heart surgeon whose honest, unvarnished writing about his life and death work has given his readers new insights into the reality of life inside the operating theatre. Samer Nashef's family came to Britain from Palestine via Lebanon. He decided he wanted to be a doctor after a short hospital stay in Beirut, and he went on to excel in the competitive world of British medical school. He's long been renowned as a heart surgeon in one of the UK's top cardiac treatment centres, the Papworth Hospital near Cambridge. He's written 2 books about his work fixing broken hearts, The Naked Surgeon and the Angina Monologues. As the title suggests, he's determined to demystify the surgeon's role. But has he ended up revealing stuff that we'd rather not know? Well, ladies and gentlemen, please give a very warm welcome to Samer Nashef. Samer Nashef, a very, very warm welcome to Hard Talk. You have described the heart as a very simple mechanism. You say it is a bag made of muscle, the simplest of pumps. Is that really the way you see it?
That is what it is.
Yes, but it's so much more to all of us as human beings. Poets write about it. Novelists invest it with so much. Do you not, when you look at that heart in the operating theatre, think of it in slightly more mystical terms?
Well, the mystical thing about it is that when it stops, you're dead. So that's quite important. But it doesn't look anything like the Valentine cards, and there is no point in making jewelry that looks like it. Nobody makes jewelry that looks like livers or kidneys, as far as I know. And it is simply a pump. There is probably a reason why people thought it was the seat of emotions, because when you have emotions and you release adrenaline and noradrenaline, they stimulate the heart and it beats a little bit faster and more strongly. So they assume it's the heart that's generating the emotions. The heart is just simply responding to them. But it's a very clever pump.
A very clever pump. You have, again, in your sort of matter-of-fact way, you've described it, being a heart surgeon, as dealing with sort of the plumbing of the human body. So I'm wondering, what drew you to something which, in a sense, makes you the human body's plumber?
Well, it was a series of strange decisions, and mistaken ones often, and not very intelligent ones, but I sort of liked the heart when I was a medical student because it was clean and neat and glamorous, and I wanted to become a cardiologist. But I got exasperated by physicians. Cardiologists are physicians, and they drove me up the wall when I was a house surgeon, and I was asking them to come in and give advice about surgical patients, and they wasted an awful lot of my time and argued about silly things and kept on quoting the last paper from this and the last paper from that. And one day I swore that if they did that one more time, I will stop wanting to become a physician and become a surgeon. And that's how I switched. It wasn't an intelligent decision.
And you write about it very graphically, very frankly, but what you also lead us to understand is that open heart surgery, which is now such a familiar part, such an important part of the medical kit bag, it really is quite a new practice because the technology simply didn't exist before the 1950s to open up the chest and operate upon the heart.
Well, until about 100 years ago, or maybe a little bit more, it was not possible to open the chest, let alone operate on the heart, because something that many people don't realize is that your lungs don't breathe by themselves. They need an intact chest wall around them. They're passive. The chest wall muscles stretch the chest wall and the lungs just follow because they're inside it. And the minute you open the chest, you break that seal and air gets in, and then moving the chest muscles will do nothing. And whenever surgeons in the past tried to operate on the heart, they'd of course open the chest and the lungs would disappear and crumple into a corner. And the surgeons would think, oh, this is great, we can, lots of space to get access to the heart. And then 2 minutes later, the patient's dead, and they didn't understand why. So we had to wait for two things before we could operate on the heart. The first one was the invention of the endotracheal tube, which allows you to blow air and oxygen actively into the lungs so that you don't rely on the chest wall to ventilate, to breathe. And the second thing that we had to wait for was to do with the heart itself, because, you know, most organs you can do without for a few minutes or half an hour or an hour, but you can't really do without the heart for half an hour because the brain dies. And it was a question of trying to find a way of keeping the patient alive while working on the heart. And this invention happened in the mid-1950s when a surgeon called Gibbon, working in the United States, made this contraption which contained a pump and an oxygenator through which you could put the blood through, and the pump would do the work of the heart, the oxygenator would do the work of the lungs, and then you can bypass the heart completely, and then when you fiddle with the heart, the patient stays alive. And that was the starter pistol for heart surgery, and it just took off.
You say, when you reflect on what you do, that in a sense, the technical side of it is actually quite straightforward, more straightforward, for example, than brain surgery, but it's the decision-making that is the essence of a good surgeon and good surgery. So what do you mean by the decision making?
The technical aspects they're not that easy, but they are doable. Somebody who is not totally cack-handed can learn to do heart surgery. Yeah, I'm not particularly skilled with my hands. I'm not cack-handed, but I can do
maybe
things.
Some of your patients don't want to know that.
I'm just being honest. Some aspects of heart surgery, especially intricate coronary surgery, can be difficult, and you have to be very careful because tiniest mistakes can actually lead to death. So, but most heart surgery, valves and aortas and transplants, are actually stitching big things to big things. It's within the reach of most well-trained surgeons. But I think something that does differentiate good heart surgeons from ones who are not so good is knowing when to do, what to do, and how to do it. And that is largely decision-making, and it's important.
And what you do in the way you write about your work is you bring to life some extraordinary difficult cases where you have had to make in real time and very quickly, you've had to make the most difficult of decisions. I'm thinking for one in your most recent book, The Angina Monologues, where you talk about a woman who is heavily pregnant with twins. I think she's in the 37th week, and she has the most terrible aorta problem with her heart. I think the aorta is wrecked, really. And you have to decide what to do, whether to immediately work on her, because she's dying, or whether to get her twin babies sort of out of the womb before working on her.
Yes, it was a very difficult decision, because one of the problems is that putting somebody on a heart-lung machine when they're pregnant is very likely to make them lose the pregnancy. And on the other hand, that particular condition, dissection of the aorta, acute aortic dissection, is fatal. It's got 1% death rate per hour. So within a couple of days, half the patients have died. So you can't really wait that long. And we had to make the decision as to whose life do we put first. And we decided that we should probably deliver the babies first and allow her to take an extra, perhaps 2 to 3% risk while this was done.
I am interested in the personality of people such as yourself who take on such immense responsibility, and it's the cliche about life and death work, but that is indeed what yours is. And some people think that surgeons at this level have a particular set of personality traits, and some of them aren't always regarded as particularly nice. You know, people, I'm looking now at research done by Simon Patterson-Brown, who is a former chairman of the Patient Safety Board at the Royal College of Surgeons in Scotland, and he talks about arrogance, narcissism, different character traits, which sometimes make surgeons very difficult to work with.
I think you're absolutely right there, and that is very true of the early days of heart surgery. Before the heart-lung machine worked properly, and before any of the safety features were introduced, heart surgery was a sort of desperate last-ditch attempt for people who were in dire straits. And, you know, the sort of stuff that people did was horrible and dangerous, and many patients died as a result. But a few survived, and it began to look like it was going to be a feasible option. But to be one of the pioneering heart surgeons, you had to be a serious risk taker. You had to be a cowboy. You had to be prepared to throw caution to the wind in order to get anywhere. Nowadays, I think we're a lot more boring, but probably a lot safer as a result of 50 years of development.
And interestingly, you say even in the course of your career, you've noticed a change in yourself, that the waves of euphoria you get when an operation goes well are perhaps not quite as high and dramatic as they were when you were younger, and yet you say the degree of regret and self-questioning and recrimination that you have when things go wrong, that's just as intense today as it was when you were a young man.
That is true.
Why do you think that is?
I'm not sure. Perhaps the euphoria reduces because of expectation, or because we've been there a long time, or because the standards have gone up. We now operate on people who are much older and much sicker and much more challenging than anything that we used to do at the beginning of my training. But don't get quite such a high from when it's going well. And I wonder whether it's a combination of these reasons, or maybe I'm just getting used to it.
Yeah.
But the problem is, when something does not go well, it still feels just as awful, if not even more so, than it did before. And as I've said in the book, there will come a time when that balance is not so nice and not so positive, and then I'll retire.
Do you think we, as patients, really want the warts and all descriptions of what it's truly like to be a top surgeon, where you're frank about the degree to which luck plays a part, the degree to which sometimes you and others make mistakes?
Of course.
Sometimes you feel that you let patients down? Do we really want to know all this? My guess is that sometimes we'd rather not know, for example, the degree to which chance is relevant in any serious intervention that you make.
I think that is true, but I think that in heart surgery, at least, we're extremely honest about the downside. We give patients risks calculated properly, scientifically, as percentages. We tell them likelihood of death, likelihood of stroke, likelihood of not getting a good outcome, and we tell them the benefits, and we ask them to weigh these things. So at least we're being honest. And I think nowadays, patients no longer accept the patriarchal approach of, well, there you are, my good man, I know what's best for you. And that's not good enough. I certainly wouldn't want to be treated like that as a patient. I want to make decisions, my health, my life, my say.
In terms of heart health, we also have a different way of looking at the way we all live our lives and what is happening to our hearts, because we get constant public health messaging telling us that if we eat right, if we exercise right, if we do not drink and do not smoke and do not do all sorts of other things, our hearts should be healthy. I wonder whether you as a heart surgeon feel that we're getting the public health messaging right.
No.
Because?
Well, because for the majority of heart disease, unfortunately, the risk factors are things that you cannot do anything about. For example, your genes, your family history, whether there's a lot of heart history in your family, you can't do anything about that. You can't change your parents. The second thing is being male. You can't, well, perhaps you can change that nowadays, but it doesn't affect the heart disease incidence. But males do a little bit less well than females in the heart stakes, and they have more, we're talking about coronary disease primarily, which is the lifestyle association that most people think about. You can't do anything about getting old. That's going to happen to all of us, and the older you get, the more likely you are to get coronary disease. So for those things that affect the heart that you can't do anything about, well, there's nothing you can do about them, and no amount of diet or whatever will make any difference. Now, there are some things that we can do something about, and they are extremely important. For example, smoking is definitely very bad, and we shouldn't do it, and the evidence is there.
You were a smoker, weren't you?
Absolutely, yes. We used to love
When did you stop?
French cigarettes. About 30 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, a long time ago.
So you've given your heart a decent chance.
Hopefully, but it hasn't worked that well, has it?
Well, we'll get to that, actually, because a heart doctor who's got a dodgy heart is a fascinating phenomenon, but we'll get to that in a moment.
Okay.
But before we get there, I've noticed in your writing you are very critical of certain, for example, dietary instructions that have been given. You say that salt, for example, has had a very bad rap. People have suggested that it's bad for the body, but in particular for the heart. You say no real evidence.
No, there is no real evidence.
And there's one extraordinary story you tell about how, and we'll get to you now, when you discovered you were suffering from angina, the first thing you did when you first felt it, after you'd been to the gymnasium, was go to the pub, have a beer and a burger to think more about your condition.
What else is there to do?
Some people might have taken the angina as a message that beer and burgers were part of your problem.
But there is no connection between beer and burgers and angina. There is a connection between how many burgers, so for obesity as well as smoking are bad for you. That is absolutely proven. Type 2 diabetes, which often results from obesity, is bad for you. Hypertension, which also is an outcome, a consequence. All of these things are bad for you. You can control them. There's quite a few things you can do about cholesterol if you're in a high-risk group. But nobody's ever proven that eating a burger causes heart disease by itself, or that putting salt on your chips causes heart disease. And now, don't get me wrong, I'm not here to advertise the benefits of salt, chips, and burgers. In fact, there are foods that I would rather eat far more than that. But I think what matters is that when we do give messages to patients and to the public, that we should concentrate on the messages that are backed by solid evidence.
Let me ask you about a different aspect of the public health system in the United Kingdom. That is the NHS itself, our free at the point of delivery healthcare system that polls suggest the great majority of British people are immensely proud of. Are you worried about the state of the NHS today?
I'm worried about a lot of things in the NHS, but if there was one thing that worries me most, it's funding. And we do not spend enough on health. I'm sorry, but that is true. If you look at most advanced civilized countries, they're up to spending anything from 12 to 18, 19% of their gross domestic product on health. We at the moment are spending around 8.5%. And
here's the figure. I just pulled it from a research document. The US spends more than twice as much per capita on healthcare as the UK. It amounts to $10,000 per person in the US. In the UK, the equivalent is barely $4,000. You've worked in the US,
yes,
but they don't have a public healthcare system as we do, and many would argue that access to healthcare in the US is much poorer, more defined by money.
True. Yeah.
So money isn't really the answer, is it?
No, money is not the answer, and the US, although it spends more than twice as much on healthcare, it does not get twice as good healthcare. The main reason NHS care is so good is because it's relatively cheap and amazingly efficient. You know, there are no people in the middle making money out of it. You know, there's no insurance companies, no schemes, no profit-making organizations. Money comes from the government to the healthcare service. The healthcare service delivers the service. So we're very efficient. However, patients are unpredictable and medicine is unpredictable, and all it takes is for one thing to go wrong, and your 100% occupancy of the intensive care unit leads to 20 operations being cancelled, and paying doctors and nurses and staff to sit there twiddling their thumbs is inefficient.
So how close to breaking point do you feel your NHS, our NHS, to be today?
It already suffers from lack of funding to the extent that it actually affects patient care. Heart surgery, for example, you know, a lot of the heart operations we do them because we want to make people feel better, you know, get rid of pain, angina, breathlessness, all that sort of stuff. But a lot of the operations that we do also help people live longer. Now, if you have to wait a year for an operation to help you live longer, well, you might die during that year from the condition that you're trying to treat. That's not right.
Also, I'm just wondering whether you feel the British system is well placed to exploit the very latest medical technology. Artificial hearts, for example, replacing the transplant idea with creating artificial.
Yes, absolutely.
Is that going to come, and do we have the money to fund the research to make it happen?
There is actually funding. Research funding in the NHS is quite good now. Artificial hearts will happen. It's just a technology issue to get them right that's delaying us. But I think they will be available on the shelf properly within about 10 to 15 years.
Really?
So that's going to happen. Then we would have an off-the-shelf treatment for heart failure, which is a massive killer. And that would change the face of the specialty quite a lot. Because as you know, transplants will never meet the demand.
Yes. You mean because of the limited supply?
Yeah, limited supply of donors.
Yes.
And it's a treatment that requires a young, fit person to die, so an old, sick one lives. It's not great as a solution.
No. I want to end with this thought that I planted earlier about what it is like to be one of the world's leading heart surgeons and to discover that you have your own rather serious heart problem because you suffered from angina and you needed to go see a specialist. And how difficult was it for you to accept that your own heart was beginning to let you down?
It's slightly off-putting.
How difficult was it for any of your colleagues to take you on as a patient?
Yes, that's perhaps a little bit more interesting. I was fortunate. Stephen, at the end of the day, it was a very minor single ruptured plaque in one coronary artery, which has now healed, and I don't have angina anymore, and I'm very, very well. And for that, I thank my lucky stars, and I hope it carries on like this for a long time. Chose my surgeon for that, one of my colleagues. He's a Welshman. He's a very pale Welshman, but he became a lot more pale when I asked him if he would. So it was not a particularly fun time. But in the end, I'm relieved that that's all it was.
And I dare say, just as a final thought, it gave you an even deeper understanding of what your patients are going through.
Absolutely, and I'm much more sympathetic to them now.
Simon Nashifit, it's been an extraordinary pleasure having you on Hard Talk. Thank you very much indeed.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
This is Today 95.1 FM. To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
They are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
To stay connected all day, press 1.
The person who raised the alarm is the one who made the public know about
Good afternoon and welcome to the world news on your premium talk radio station.
We are your premium talk radio station. Today 95.1 FM, the station with a unique dial.
Here at Today, we bring you what you need to hear.
This is what they're going after. They're not going to
It has to be applicable to all situations.
No, it cannot be because when the evidence.
Some people are not sure of 1 meal a day in a society with such huge potentials. If a criminal passes that place, whichever means he used in passing, and you turn around to blame the citizen, for instance, people will ask you, were you not there? Malaria kills Nigerians. Malaria.
News.
This is the World News. I am Annie Abdul Salam. In the headlines, Federal Executive
Sports
and entertainment. My name is Chibogwu Najib. Straight up to football on the show.
This is Today. Every day, 24/7, 365. We are your official all-year radio station.
And welcome.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure having you around on the Daybreak Nigeria show.
Thank you.
And she's from the Millennium Business Edge, and she's got something special to talk to us about this morning. So let's just relax and have her do the talking. Feel free, Ruth.
Okay, good morning, my correct listeners. My name is Ruth Silvanus. I'm a geologist, a business analyst, and a senior consultant with the Millennium Business Edge. The Millennium Business Edge is a non-governmental initiative under the umbrella of Century 21 Freedom Group International. We work with forward-thinking Nigerians to create capitals where they look for to start up businesses or expand already existing business. We don't find out, say, people after they don't work for up to 30 to 35 years, most times retire back to square zero or retire back to nothing. Some of them go even Pago village at the end of the day. So we don't enter into a research with our organization to find out, say, this world, now principles they govern them. We don't, and many people who don't follow these principles actually don't become successful. This is another phase of the year. The first phase has come with its own challenges. Some people don't complain too much. Some people don't lose their job. Some people they find other businesses to do. Some people, the reason why they complain is because you're not prepared for them. So we are being able to help to work with many Nigerians to build a system that pays passively in excess. To be part of our support program, you have to text yes to our number, and I will call out the number
0815-699-0591.
Now, to set up that, we don't help plenty Nigerians to set up their businesses, activating the program with as low as 40,000 naira. And we don't help these people build for themselves a business system that pays in excess, which comes in monthly basis through our Business Mentorship Program. The purpose of this campaign is to help individuals with that money where they find to expand their businesses. We launched this campaign in 2016, and since then we don't record huge success. We have been able to help the businesses, people's business, and help them, because ordinarily if you go to the bank will not give you the loan. You go, if they will delay you at the end of the day, they will not give you the loan. So we go work with you. For those of you where we go select, after you don't text your response to us, we go work with you and then create the cash flow you are looking for to start up that business. To be part of our partnership assistance program, you go register your interest by texting YES, YES, to
0815-699-0591.
I will call them again.
0815-699-0591.
When we receive your response and do random selection of the first 50 persons, we go send yes to this our numbers
0815-699-0591.
The selection will take place tomorrow and Saturday, and now only those where we select we go send our partnership confirmation message. We go carry the address of our project office, the time, and your reservation number. Slots reservation, they're very few. So if we book reservation for you, you better not miss them. The number to send this yes again, make I call on as
0815-699-0591. 0815-699-0591.
Now the category of persons where we take advantage of this our support program now. Number one, civil servants, where they find business to do to augment their salary. We go feel help you. Maybe they work already or they don't sack you, but they find other businesses to do. The second set of persons are people who want to do business but you don't get money to start, and you want to see how you go fit build passive income for yourself. The next category of people are people where they do business already. You want to expand that business, but to get loan now wahala. We go fit work with you to create that amount of money you need to expand the business. The next category are people who get money already. You get money, you want to do business, but they look for better business to do when it will affect your job or current business. If you dey part of this set of persons, you go text yes. Even if you get handwork and you find cash flow to increase, expand that business, you just text yes to us on
0815-699-0591. 0815-699-0591.
This money we dey help you create no be loan. So once the cash flow is generated for you through our support and mentorship program to set up that business, to expand that business, you don't have to pay the money back.
This is seriously amazing. I mean, if there's any great thing I had this morning, this is one. Permit me to use English here, Ruth. Actually, so the idea is to create you create means of making money in excess. I kept marking that word, passive income in excess.
Exactly.
And then you work with us, that's those of us who are interested, to help us lift our businesses, grow our ideas without affecting our main jobs.
Exactly.
Oh, that's wonderful. Let's have the number that we're supposed to text yes to one last time.
0815-699-0591. 0815-699-0591.
Okay, thank you so much, Ruth Silvanus from Millennium Business Edge, for coming around on the David Nigeria show.
Why did you just throw that can out the window like that?
What am I supposed to do with an empty can? I'm done with the drink.
You can keep it in the car until you get to a place where you can dispose it properly.
It is our duty to keep our city clean, not only for us, but for the people visiting our city and also for generations to come. Keeping the state clean promotes tourism. It fosters better health. It preserves the environment. Refuse only brings mosquitoes, flies, and other insects, which in turn bring diseases. Keep your environment clean. Keep the city clean. Keep River State clean. This message is brought to you by your premium talk radio, Today 95.1 FM.
Every day on Today 95.1 FM, there's always an opportunity to comment and air your views on our various programs. It's not just about us. It's about you, your opinion, and your voice.
President, don't you think that it's time to step down, sir?
Be part of the story, the gist, reactions, intrigues, and the news.
President Neil Patrick Harris has called for greater regulation.
Give us a feedback or join the conversation on Twitter at TodayFM951. Our Facebook address is Today95.1FM, or join us on the number 0701 933 9962. That's our WhatsApp application. Be informed, be educated, and have fun. We are Today 95.1 FM, voice of the people.
FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people. Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
This is Today 95.1 FM. To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
They are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
And
To stay connected all day, press 1.
The person who raised the alarm is the one who made the public know about
Good afternoon and welcome to the World News on your premium talk radio station.
We are your premium talk radio station. Today 95.1 FM, the station with a unique dial.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
This president's failed.
It's about the future of this country.
We're going to take it back. We're going to take it back.
You asked us to vote you into that position so you can bring about that
solution.
So when you vote me, then you sleep.
Let me see if I can take another phone call. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
What makes a policeman to be able to feed is the gun he's holding. They use their gun to extort money from people.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
No longer news that we are truly the voice of the people.
Am I not a slave in Nigeria?
I refuse if you are. If
You're
you
a slave. Let's not get to that now. So the Nigerian Rob is philosophizing.
You spot the difference now?
Nigeria. Are you ready? Because we want to begin your Ember Month with lots of excitement. DW Urban Global Investment presents Jolly Jolly Package 2020. Invest from 500,000 Naira to 1 million Naira and get 70% return on your investments plus capital for our new investors. And for our existing investors, you get 80% returns on investments plus capital. Christmas is here again and we want to make it a memorable one for you. Offer runs from 1st to 14th of September 2020. So hurry now and invest. Visit our office at Vineyard Plaza, Waji Road, Phase 2, Port Harcourt, or call 081-7124-5555 or 090-900-83493. Visit our website at www.dwainvestment.com.ng. Don't miss this golden opportunity. Let your money work for you. Terms and conditions applies. Nigeria. Are you ready? Because we want to begin your Ember Month with lots of excitement.
This is Today 95.1 FM. To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
They are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
To stay connected all day, press 1.
The person who raised the alarm is the one who made the public know about
Good afternoon and welcome to the World News on your premium talk radio station.
We are your premium talk radio station. Today 95.1 FM, the station with a unique dial.
Wake up to today's quest. Wake up. All the news and information you need in one go. Get started with the best of sports, lifestyle, analysis, and Annie.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Can you feel it? Wake up to today's quest with Annie on Today 95.1 FM. From 6 to 11 a.m. weekdays. Fantastic.
9 minutes after 8, Thursday, the 10th day of September 2020. Dial is 95.1 FM. The station is Today 95.1 FM here in the city of Port Harcourt. I am Annie Abdul Salam and I've got Emmanuel Nduku here with me this morning. Emmanuel, good morning.
Good morning, Annie. Good morning, Nigeria.
Segment of the show, today's quest, is the newspaper review. And that means we'll be going through captions of the stories as we see on the papers this morning. And right after that, we have the news update at the top of the hour. So do join us. Don't go anywhere. Stay right here with us. What we want to do now is get to the papers. We have that on our Facebook page, Today 95.1 FM. Please go ahead and like that page, Today 95.1 FM on Facebook. Once you've liked that page, you have access to checking out the stories, of course, the ones that we'll be talking about right now or even any other time. And you can contribute using that platform. And I can get to read them much later during the show. So let's start with one of our favorite papers. This is the Vanguard newspaper. And in the Vanguard newspaper this morning, we've got strike doctors, federal government sign MOU, may suspend action today. Strike doctors, federal government sign MOU, may suspend action today. Also from the Vanguard, PDP Atiku's stance on deregulation, height of hypocrisy. This is coming from the APC. Says here that PDP Atiku's stance on deregulation, height of hypocrisy. APC. And Benue militant Ghana surrenders after 4 years in hiding, seized by military, was seized and killed. Benue militant Ghana surrenders after 4 years in hiding, seized and killed. I'll add the kill because he's dead. Seized by military. And then in the Vanguard newspaper, you have weak currency discouraging foreign investments in Nigeria's economy, says expert. Weak currency discouraging foreign investments in Nigeria's economy, says expert. And also from the Vanguard newspaper, CBN tackles NESG, explains how it protected economy from extraordinary shock. CBN tackles NESG, explains how it protected economy from extraordinary shock. And we'll move on to the Guardian newspaper. In the Guardian, PDP falls Buhari's directive to ministers on marketing of policies. PDP falls Buhari's directive to ministers on marketing of policies. Nigeria abandons Vision 2020, Dreams Agenda 2050. Oh, Lord. Nigeria abandons Vision 2020, Dreams Agenda 2050. You know, the funny thing is, I know that nations put, this sort of benchmarks so that they can access how they're faring along, the affairs of their nation. We don't even scratch the surface. We'll get there. Like, okay, adjust.
Move it forward. And in 2050, it will be moved.
Emmanuel, it better not be. We will protest. All right, then we have another here in the Guardian newspaper. Resident doctors strike, ill-timed, ill-advised, says federal government. Resident doctors strike, ill-timed, ill-advised, says federal government. And also from the Guardian newspaper, Air Rufai not ready for peace in Kaduna, Sokapu alleges. Air Rufai not ready for peace in Kaduna, Sokapu alleges. And then this day newspaper has the story, Malami to open up on Magu, ready to testify before Salami panel. Malami to open up on Magu, ready to testify before Salami panel. And also from this day newspaper, we have Nigeria's public debt stock rises to 31 trillion naira. Nigeria's public debt stock rises to 31 trillion naira. And this day newspaper has the story. It says here, Nigeria overtakes India as world capital for under 5 debts. Nigeria overtakes India as world capital for under 5 debts. It just seems that India is just going through her capitals of the several things that she's had before. And she's like, I don't want this, Nigeria. Over to you.
Take it from us.
And we also grabbing it with both hands. Also, the last story we'll take from this day newspaper here. It says CJN swears in 85 judges for Ondo Edo elections. CJN swears in 85 judges for Ondo Edo elections. These are the stories that we'll be touching today. We ask you to please join us. So let's start with the very first, and that is federal government and resident doctors sign MOU, may suspend action today. The federal government and leadership of the National Association of Resident Doctors, NARD, yesterday night signed a memorandum of understanding with a view to resolving the ongoing nationwide strike by resident doctors. Following the MOU, NARD leaders are expected to meet today with a view to calling off the ongoing strike. The MOU was signed at a conciliation meeting convened by the Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, attended by the leadership of NARD and the Nigerian Medical Association, NMA, the Federal Ministry of Health, the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, as well as the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation. Minister of State for Health, Senator Olurimibe Mamora, his Labour and Employment counterpart, Festus Keyamo, and the Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, also participated in the meeting, which lasted for about 6 hours. Before briefing journalists after the meeting, Ngige informed that NARD admitted that the hospitals and isolation centers now have sufficient personal protection equipment. Among others, the minister said the federal government had paid 9.3 billion to insurance companies for life group insurance and payment of death benefits for health workers. Enrollment was by the submission of nominal rolls by the various health institutions, which NARD had been mandated at previous meetings to accomplish. The meeting further noted that claims had been made before the insurance benefits could be released. It also decided that NARD should submit copies of claims already made to the insurance companies through the hospitals to the Federal Ministry of Health for onward transmission to the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation that will ensure that the insurance companies pay the claims. The Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment should be copied. All right, well, it says they've gotten to some sort of agreement and they may suspend strike today. Emmanuel.
Well, I hope they suspend that strike because, of course, it's unnecessary now. But, of course, one must understand that the political culture of this country is that whenever things are going wrong, nobody looks at it. Only when the organization that is a target embarks on strike, the government will now sit and invite them. Please come, let's talk. But doing the needful at the right time, no, government of Nigeria, federal and states won't do it. So now that they have used the strike to open their eyes, and they now know that they can talk with them, and it has reached the stage that they may, because there's still probability.
Yeah.
I hope the probability is removed. Let them remove the strike and then go back to work.
Because, like one of the captions did say that federal government said the strike action at this time was ill-timed and ill-advised. I don't know about ill-advised, but I do know about ill-timed, especially with what we're going through the pandemic, to have the doctors down tools at this time. And they pretty much are the bulk of medical experts when we look at the system, because it's not the consultants that make up the bulk, it's the resident doctors. And for them to down tools meant that we would just have a lot more people at this period who needed to have medical attention who will not be receiving it. It's not the best of thing they want to happen during a pandemic. All right, but we do have also joining us Precious UTK Esquire. He is the Publicity Secretary, Nigerian Bar Association and Port Harcourt branch. Bar Association, Port Harcourt branch. If I would think Port Harcourt branch is different from Nigerian Bar Association. All right, go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning. Yes, I think it's a step in the right direction. It's a good one that should be commended, that at least the government has finally engaged the doctors and they're charting the way forward. However, as to it being ill-timed or ill-advised, my take on it is that government at all levels should not expect the ordinary people to be more patriotic than those occupants of power. Why did they not do the right thing at the right time? Why allowing it deteriorate to the level where the doctors have already embarked on a strike before now calling them to a roundtable discussion? So let the government should first have done the right thing. And I'm sure if government had done the needful, the doctors would not have embarked on strike. However, I welcome the development, the discussions they are embarking, and the fact that sooner than later, the strike will be called off so Nigerians can access medical care appropriately.
All right. That story is also in the Vanguard newspaper. Strike doctors, federal government signed MOU, may suspend action today. We took that story from the Vanguard. Then PDP, article stands on deregulation, height of hypocrisy. That's from APC. It says the ruling All Progressive Congress APC has chastised the People's Democratic Party PDP and its presidential candidate in the 2019 election, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, for condemning the recent hike in electricity tariff and fuel pump price, describing it as the height of hypocrisy. It accused Atiku of being double-faced and lacking integrity if, after promising to deregulate the economy during the campaigns, he can now turn back to criticize the President Muhammadu Buhari administration for doing exactly what he, Atiku, had promised to do if he was elected. The PDP and Atiku's reaction to what has been adjudged as an inevitable action by many experts clearly depicts the height of hypocrisy demonstrated by them on many issues relating to the progress and well-being of Nigeria, the ruling party said on Wednesday. APC, in a statement by its Deputy National Publicity Secretary, Mr. Yakini Nabena, said as genuine patriots, reputable groups and organizations make honest contributions to the reactions about the deregulation of electricity and petrol prices, it received with some amazement comments attributed to the PDP and Alhaji Atiku condemning the decision of the Buhari administration to deregulate the PMS sector. It described as worrisome the action of the PDP's presidential flag bearer at the 2019 general election, saying it is rather unfortunate if truly the comments reported by a section of the media condemning the removal of petrol subsidy is attributed to Atiku Abubakar. Part of the statement reads, Atiku's comments clearly reveal his two-facedness and portrays him as a man not actually looking in integrity, as one acutely lacking in integrity, but one that should never be trusted. Atiku continues to justify the majority of the Nigerian people who rejected him at the polls. This stems majorly from the fact that he was part of the government that created the corrupt petrol subsidy monster and also the chaos in the electricity sector. A further portrayal of Atiku's hypocrisy was his pretentious promise to deregulate the downstream petroleum sector by privatizing the NNPC. Atiku made the sale of NNPC to his friends and deregulation of both PMS and electricity sector the hallmark of his 2019 presidential election misadventure. Atiku argued at different forums in 2018 and early 2019 that NNPC and the power sectors must be disbanded through privatization if they must be efficient. So therefore, for the APC, they're shocked that Atiku wants to even say anything now because this is the path he had always campaigned on. Mano.
Well, I think double speak is a signal of politicians in Nigeria. I always say it, if a politician tells you to go right, please respect yourself and go left so that you will be safe. Because now, if truly, as they are alleging, Atiku said he would deregulate the economy, I wouldn't know. Maybe he had a wage. It's not as far as going to the PMM side or whatever. If not, if he is saying that he will deregulate the economy and what the administration has done is just exactly what he had in mind, then why condemn it? However, you also know that it's like a fashion that politicians have adopted in this country. Even if Atiku had said anything worthwhile, the APC will never accept that because it's coming from Atiku. But one of them could say it and they will hail it. The fact now is that what is the impact of the deregulation on Nigerians? That is just it. Now, I know that, yes, government can hands off as they have claimed now to have hands off, even though they said they will be policing along the line, which I don't know where it comes from. Because if you are telling anybody not to sell even up to 2,000 a liter, not because you're exploiting them, don't sell it, then you've not deregulated. Now, if they are looking at it in that way, I also want them to check the economy of Nigeria and that of others where the deregulation is happening. How far have they gone to make it very easy for Nigerians to live? They also should remember that they, as a government, can still peg it whatever to cushion the effect. And the critical reason is that the diversification has always been a sing-song and has not been practically implemented, because we would have had sources, very many of them, that could have been yielding revenue for Nigeria. But they all want oil. And now that we want oil, oil must kill Nigeria and Nigeria must kill oil. So let us see exactly what has happened to oil.
All right. Let me get to Precious UTK.
My take on this is very simple.
Yeah.
Is it not... The reverse is the case in this instance. It is this current federal government that I can sacredly say is highly hypocritical. Because I don't know why they feel that Nigerians have this short memory. Why should we not remember when the prominent actors in this federal government, that was 2014 or thereabout, demonstrated against the same deregulation? So I should have been thinking that the government should have first apologized to Nigerians for demonstrating against this same thing they are doing today. Those shameless, well, let me not use that word for whatever it is worth, but it is shameful, I must say, for the same persons today to accuse Atiku Abubakar of hypocrisy. What did Atiku say? I had the privilege to read Atiku's tweet directly when he made it. Atiku said, in safer climes, in Western world, when the regulation is done as it is now, prices are even coming down, not gazumping as it is in Nigeria. That unfortunately, we say we are deregulating, that even the US and other countries, prices are falling down. Why is our own, after we have deregulated, skyrocketing? And then you begin to wonder why this particular government, after very big promises, has failed to this extent. That I read that Nigeria now imports petrol from Niger Republic, Abi Benin Republic, Niger. How shameful can that be? The stench from the cesspit of failure displayed by this federal government owes to high heavens. That Nigeria, as it is today, that does not have one refinery working. And then when it has to do with the common man, the government is quick to act. They can afford to buy fuel for whatever it is worth. After all, it's the taxpayers' money they are using to buy the fuel. But common Nigerians may not be able to afford it, and they don't mind. How shameful could that be that Nigeria is now buying petrol from Niger Republic?
Nano, you want to say something?
Yeah, I do, certainly. You see, the protests, was it in 2014 or 2012, about the one that dubbed Occupy Nigeria, wasn't against the deregulation. Rather, of course, the regulation starts from there. It was an increase in the pump price, whether from whatever to 97 or whatever it was. But deregulation now is quite different. And I think that's what Atiku, if that's what he said, is talking about, and federal government also. Now, the government is no longer going to subsidize it, which according to them was a shrieking of corruption and all that.
Yeah.
And so what they want is to remove that's why we had it PPRO yesterday, said they won't fix price again.
Anymore, they're removing the ban.
So if Precious is a marketer, he says anyhow, I said anyhow. They won. I want to believe that Atiku should understand what the regulation entails. And if he does so, he should have also understood that initially that the regulation comes on stream is not when the price will fall down. No, it doesn't happen anywhere in the world. As soon as they start selling at different prices, the forces of competition will drive it to a level that, yes, it will crash. I keep on giving an example, which Asha Frank was challenging yesterday, but I didn't know. When he said we are not the owner of the satellite and all that in terms of GSM. The same thing, oil, you and I are not the owner. It's government that is running it for us. And so we don't own it. It is government that regulates everything. And now they say, no, remove their hands. So the prices go. Perhaps at a point it will come down. No politician, no party is better than the other. But what I'm only saying is that if truly Atiku said you deregulate the economy, and the federal government now does that same thing, what is he condemning it for?
Sorry again, I just wanted you to complete whatever you were saying. I beg to disagree with you to a larger extent.
Okay.
What President Goodluck Jonathan at that time did was partial deregulation. He said he was not going to
venture. That's what I said.
But you said it wasn't deregulation, but a price hike.
No, I said
what they were against was the price hike.
Yeah. Definitely, the aftermath of deregulation is
price hike.
Price hike.
So then why hold on. Then why is Atiku offended with this here? If you are saying that with deregulation comes price hike, so why is Atiku saying that?
Atiku's worry is that the price it is being sold in Nigeria is not commensurate. It is not enough to deregulate today. Jonathan's increase was about 3 naira or 6 naira thereabout. But today,
at that time, how much was the dollar
but
to the
today,
naira? No, calculate. How much was the dollar to the naira at that time?
I don't want to go.
That is the only way you get the analysis. No,
but
that is how you get your complete analysis.
So what Atiku is trying to say is that in US there is total deregulation, but price is there is nothing to be compared with what it is in Nigeria. And then I also said that federal government should have first apologized to Nigeria because they were the first persons that are hypocritical. Because first they demonstrated against the regulation, assuming but expressly not conceding that Atiku is guilty of hypocrisy. The federal government should have an A first in the hypocrisy before we rank Atiku B. That is my position.
All right then. Everybody should carry their L in this one.
That is it. All I know is that price hike consequence of the regulation must be evident. Simple.
Anyways, this is Atiku and the federal government's
Of
fight.
course.
Let's move on.
PDP,
Atiku stands for deregulation, height of hypocrisy. That's from the APC. And Benue militant Ghana arrested and or surrenders after 4 years in hiding, seized by military. It says there are strong indications that the wanted Benue militia leader, Mr. Tewase Agwaza, also known as Ghana, has been seized by the military, thereby creating tension in the state. Agwaza, who had a 50 million naira bounty slammed on his head by the Benue state and federal government, had been on the wanted list for close to 4 years over his alleged criminal activities in the northeast senatorial district of the state. Governor Samuel Otum had in his first year in office offered amnesty to criminal gangs operating in the state, and the wanted militia leaders was among those who took advantage of the amnesty to surrender over 700 arms to government. However, he was said to have reneged on his promise to repent and returned to his forest hideout in the Sankera axis of the state alongside his followers and gang members. This was shortly after being fingered in the murder of an aide of Governor Samuel Otum on special duty, Mr. Denin Igbana, in 2016 in Makurdi. A manhunt for Ghana by the police and the military commenced from then until Friday, when Governor Otum, during a working visit to that axis of the state, offered a second amnesty to all criminal gangs operating in the area, including wanted militia leader. Reports had it that Agwaza took advantage of the latest amnesty granted by the state government to renounce his criminal activities and also surrender his weapons. According to our findings, the militia leader, alongside members of his gang, Monday afternoon came out of their hiding, were received by the youths and traditional rulers of the area, including the first-class chief, Tor Sankera Abu King Shulua. He was then moved by the leaders of the area to Makurdi, the state capital, where he was expected to surrender his weapons and formally make a declaration renouncing his criminal activities, and also granted amnesty by Governor Otum and the State Security Council. Vanguard gathered from a top government official who was among those delegated to bring the wanted militia and his gang to Makurdi that they were on a convoy with Mr. Agwaza heading to Makurdi when a detachment of the military allegedly ambushed the convoy between Amaledu and Yandev roundabout in Boko local government area. The source who spoke on condition of anonymity says we were about Ameladu and Yandev roundabout when we noticed that the military had used a long truck to barricade the road. They stopped us and ordered the Katsinala local government council chairman, who was in the same hillocks with Agwaza and his driver, to step out of the car. They took Ghana and some of the items that were recovered from him and his gang in the van and drove away to an unknown location. They allowed us to come to Makurdi with other members of his gang. As we speak, we don't know where he is, but I must add that while we were in Katsina, we noticed that the military personnel with us were communicating with their superiors before we left there. So it is likely they were ordered to do what they did. By this time, when they were writing this, obviously they didn't know that he was dead, but the rest of us know that he was killed. So Emmanuel, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I really don't understand, because I want to believe that government wanted him alive, at least to have. That's why they granted amnesty. And the first one, he reneged. The second one, he now came up, brought out his weapons with his men. Yeah. That means he has shown a sign of repentance, even though nobody can read the heart except God to know exactly whether that repentance was really or not. But at least he was on convoy heading to Makurdi. That means exactly what government wanted was exactly complied with by these Ghana or whoever. Now, coming on the way, there was an ambush and they took him. But you must also understand that a uniform of army is not only worn by the military. Who knows those people who took him? Because if it is truly the army also, I want to understand, must have been co-opted into the fact that amnesty has been granted. They know. And this is somebody who has finally agreed. No matter the enormity of criminality he must have committed, he was on the way to comply with government position. Then why kill him? Wouldn't it have been best to be the army?
It should be the army.
So I don't understand why the army went that far.
The army said that it was a gunfire between Ghana and his men and them that ended up him being killed.
Well, for me, I don't know. Like I said, I think he was heading for on the cover of the amnesty. Government said, we are going to, come to Makode. And even with the arms and all that, he should have been given a reprieve. At least the military should have joined them, perhaps.
But they cannot give reprieves when he was holding sway
from
the forest.
No, it's just like when we talk about the atrocities committed during Nigeria and Biafran War. I always tell people, whichever side that fell under the hammer more, don't be aggrieved so much because that is part of war. But war has passed, and we are talking about how to move forward. Right. I thought now they complied with government position, they should have allowed it, but they decided otherwise.
All right, let's get to